What's up? What's up, everybody? What's up? What's up? All right, enough of that. We're just having fun, folks. That's Church of Eight Wheels for those who may ask later. That's my intro, outro song. I like to jam. I like to jive. I like to have a little bit of fun. When I do these streams, I try to make them highly educational, highly informative, and I feel like music sets the right tone. I feel like music makes it fun. It's more fun for me. Hopefully, it's more fun for you. And I just want you to know that I'm very thankful that you're here. So I just want to say thank you to everybody who's joining me here today and spending a little bit of your precious time. We're going to look at the market. We'll do, of course, Bitcoin, Ethereum. We'll do altcoins. Let's look at equity markets. We'll look at metals, oil. We'll just kind of do all that. And I want to make this interactive, so you have a chance just to ask me questions. You just send a message in the chat room, and I'll do my best to read it. I may not read, I read every message. I may not reply to everyone, but just reach out to me. Let me know how you're doing. Just a couple quick housekeeping notes. I'm of course on Twitter at Big Cheds. And I try to be really active, like on YouTube. I don't necessarily stream every day. I stream once a week, usually Fridays. And kind of the reason I don't stream more, you can see what I do here. I teach professional TA, classical charting, and candlestick theory. For those of you who maybe don't know what I do. I did CMT level 1. I'm working on 2 right now. I published 4 books. And I like to make my books free. You can go out and buy them, but I enjoy making all my work free, all my books free. So I've got great playlists. Check out the Trading Encyclopedia. There's new videos that come out every single day. And this is to teach you I got 300 videos now, every concept in technical analysis. So just enjoy it and soak it up and appreciate all your feedback. I would stream more, but of course I'm a founding analyst at Bitcoin Live, where I do it twice a week. Report, and I've been doing that for 8 years. So consider checking that out. It's just a wonderful team. I'm really proud to be part of that. And I'll just say, if you're looking for an exchange, check out BingX. I'm a partner there, and I've worked with them for 6 years. So that's an excellent exchange if you're looking for somewhere to trade. So, what is going on, folks? How's everybody doing? What's up? Let me know how you're doing. Good to see you, Stefan, Mike, JDX. Nice to see the chat room filling up. What's the deal with Bitcoin? When are we going to get a real, genuine, breakout? And when are we going to, rejoin the weekly trend? And we know the weekly trend. I don't really have a plan of what I'm going to say, so I'm just going to riff here. I mean, we know the weekly trend is up. We know that because that's, the MA200. That's the blue line, which in classical charting is the trend, 200 simple moving average. It's price above. It's confirmed uptrend. But we've just been in this corrective state. And, we've just been in a corrective state since we lost the MA50, since we had the failed throwback. And I've just, since right about here, since around 95K, I've been saying I think we're probably heading down lower to, eventually going to bottom, in this range, 35 to 45K. That's been my base case. But you can have great bounces along the way, and we haven't had those. We really haven't had great bounces. It's been kind of muted, and you can see us here in the weekly, high time frame. You see us here in the weekly. We're underside EMA 8. You see us, underside 76K pivot, and you see it just kind of digesting this range here. It's like a 38-week range. We kind of dropped right into it, and there was good hope for bulls on this candle here, this weekly candle, where we had this nice overreaction drop. Because you can start to reverse momentum, right? If you think about a trend that's kind of steady, the best way to reverse it's like a shock move, like an overreaction move. Maybe here's a Bollinger as you come back, and it's just we need follow through, right? So just tracking, following along, the follow through here on the 4 hour, just been looking higher low. Where's the higher low? Where's the higher low? Is it here? Is it here? You just keep doing this. You keep redrawing this trend line, and we finally got a nice break. We got this nice, beautiful break here. we had, 4H outside candle here. Nice response, grinding higher. And we finally had kind of a broader range or, broader local range break. And the way I've been defining it is really, this 27-day consolidation range, the major pivot here, 71.5. And so I've been, in my analysis, in my trading, in my teaching, I've just been talking about 71.5. And we had that nice little break of that price zone. And we look to have failed to throwback. And, we know the concept of a throwback is you break out of a well-defined resistance, you come back, you retest it, and you can stair step, you can bounce from there. Great comments so far. Hey, Niels, thank you, everybody. Thank you for everybody what you're saying. I'll get to the comments in a bit, but just, get your request ready, whatever you want to talk about. So like we should have essentially held here, didn't happen, and we're just back in the range, right? So we're back in the range. What do we make of it? What do we do? Well, bulls need to, look, where's the higher low? Here's your low. Here's your higher low. Like, that's got to hold. Looks like we're probably going to test it. We're back in the range. And until the bulls get follow through, until the bulls can hold some type of a reclaimed level, we're just going to kind of drift down towards our target, which is much lower. I think if I had to guess, and you probably want me to tell you where it's going. I always try my best, and, sometimes I get it right. Sometimes I get it beautifully wrong. I'm always trying my best. I do think, though, we're heading to 55K pretty soon. And I did put out a tweet a little while ago where I said, 55K watch party. And that's just the bottom of this range here. That's just the bottom, the bottom of this range, which was like a 38-week consolidation. So there's just rough bear momentum on Bitcoin. And we'll talk more about Bitcoin, but that's kind of the backstory. Look at Ethereum. And so we've been just waiting for, here we go. Good spot to stair step. If we do, right, break the top of the range, catch the, rising demand trend, and just kind of a failed stair step, which is a little bit disappointing to see. But if you go to Ethereum, Ethereum is trying to join the party. So we've been talking about this 2150 level for a long time, and it's incredibly important on Ethereum. If we go all the way back to this ascending triangle reversal back in 2023, where pretty much the range peak was right at 2150, and that was a nice little breakout, and you had good response, throwback, right? It held initially, and then we failed. We drop below. Bull thesis is, okay, that's a deviation, right? The bull thesis is that's a false breakdown. Price was able to get back up above it. I'm just doing a little bit of backstory here to kind of set the table. And good morning, Karina. Thank you. I'm just doing a little backstory, folks, to set the table. But so we had the failed throwback, and then the bull thesis is, okay, deviation, and then we get up here and we do what's called a right angle ascending. A right angle broadening wedge break, and we broke out. We broke out of this wedge. Measured move 6,500. Linear. 10K linear. Logarithmic. Sorry, I haven't had enough coffee. But we had a major breakout. We had a major high time frame breakout. Right, 1, 2, 3. And then failed hold, failed throwback. Simple horizontal thesis. People talk about TA, and the people who don't use TA say, like, it's astrology, whatever. And that's fine. Like, do whatever method works for you. And like, for me, fundamental analysis is astrology. And it could be that I just don't understand it, and that's fine. But I let the price define me, my risk. And if you really only use TA for one thing, just use it for horizontal levels. Use it to define your risk. And like the bull thesis was damaged here, and it's a failed, continuation of momentum. So just that was a huge clue, and it's drifting back. It's been drifting back. We talked a lot about 3350. We talked a lot about the 2750 range. There's just been so much in Ethereum. So that's all the backstory, right? But back to this level and this tweet I mentioned here, where Ethereum is trying to join the party. Eyes in the 2150 zone. It just keeps trying to break out, and it keeps failing here. Let's go a little bit more lower time frame. Let's go to the daily. And so 2150 has just been such an important pivot, and it keeps trying to break it. Look at this. Look at just continued attempted break, and sent back. It keeps getting sent back. And just at what point, right? I mean, are we in a bull market or not? If we're in a bull market, we're going to be seeing the price not only break these ranges and continue. Same with like Solana, right? Look at Solana, another failed breakout, and another one, right? Solana here flexing a bull break of a bear rectangle. And by the way, all these patterns, all these terms I use, they're all defined in the encyclopedia. I'm not trying to throw academic, I'm not trying to sound smart by throwing terms at you. I've created, like a 300 video library. There's 3-minute videos on every concept. It's a bear rectangle, right? What's a bear rectangle? Well, a rectangle essentially is just well-defined upper and lower boundary. A bear rectangle because it comes after a move down, and trends tend to continue. Bear rectangle, right? Bull rectangle. It's a bear rectangle, and you can have a bull break of bearish structure, right? You can have a invalidation, of a bearish, bearish structure. And so we started to do that. We're breaking out. We're looking good. Solana's breaking out, and people are saying, hey, if you're bearish here, you're crazy, And, we're breaking out. Looks like we're headed to, 100 and then 115 and then just right back in the range. So we're just, there's no juice. There's no real juice in this market. And I think it pays to be defensive. And look, you can still, like me, you can still think we're going to 35, 40K. But you can still, 35, 45K, but you can still take whatever the best trade is available. And this is a reasonable trade. I took it. I get stopped out. Break of 71.50. That's okay. I'll take it again. I'd take this again. If given. So you can think that you can observe, Solana weakness. You can observe Ethereum weakness. But Ethereum breaks 21.50. I'm going long. Right? If Bitcoin tries again 71.50, I'll probably try it again. So you can be cautious, but still take a good trade based on just a well-defined horizontal level. Okay. Let me just scroll through some stuff in the market, and then I'll get to your requests. Fire them away. Let me know your thoughts, how everybody's doing. So that's Bitcoin, that's Ethereum, that's Solana. Whatever the rest of these altcoins, nothing too notable to really talk about. We'll do gold and silver next. Let's do the SPY first. I mean, SPY is really interesting. We are definitely seeing some momentum rollover. It's kind of got that drooping bottom type of look in classical charting. I have a video if you want. Go to the playlist and search up drooping bottom. But it's not a bottom where you think of drooping bottom like a bottom. No, it is. It basically means that the bottom of the consolidation range at the top is drooping. It's weakening and starting to cascade. So we have a rounding top with kind of a drooping bottom there. It basically just looks to be a momentum rollover. And what I have been saying until recently is that really any bear thesis has to wait until the loss of the 670 range. Right around, has to wait 670 till around like 675 range, and we started to get that. We've started to get this breakdown. This is an important momentum pivot, for the price to recover. I'll do BNB and turtles in a second. This is an important momentum pivot. So we're seeing some momentum here, some momentum risk, and you can clearly see this topping. I mean, that's a rounding top. Qs as well, I think, has some weakness. Break of the tightening range. Now it's kind of doing this underside. It's kind of doing this momentum underside thing, right? It's got a risk. We got loss of momentum there. We've got oil ripping. Where's my West Texas crude? There we go. So, I mean, that's pretty crazy. So look, I'm not a fundamental analyst. I'm not going to tell you what this means for equities or whatever, but just oil's ripping. I guess I understand this means like higher inflation and all that, but I'm not an economist. I'm just a chart nerd. So oil's ripping, and you've got gold and silver doing their thing. Gold is still chilling there. This is a tightening range. This probably resolves higher just based on that price action. Silver a little bit weaker. But this is a stronger consolidation on gold than we're seeing on silver. But I'd still buy the dip on silver back in the low 70s. So those are the things I wanted to initially cover. Now I want to go back to the chat, So there was a request. The first request I saw was for BNB. If you folks have charts that you want me to look at, I'm really happy to do it while I'm here with you. Like I said, I'll stream when I can. And by the way, check out my interview series for those who haven't seen that. So BNB, what are we thinking? I mean, not great. Sure, could be a rounding bottom, but until it can get back up above 665, I think you're really going to want to be defensive on BNB. I mean, there's no question about it. And BNB generally is a bellwether for the health, overall in the market. Like when BNB is strong, the market's strong, altcoins are strong. So we'd like to see this kind of breakout, but it just doesn't look good for now. Let's see. Niles wants to look at Tesla. Yeah, let's take a look at Tesla. What do we think here? All right. So this is at a very important pivot. You have this well-defined, you can call it a trend line, but it's a trend of sellers, right? A trend of descending supply. The supply keeps pushing it down. And you have the bulls responding here. So the price is reaching an inflection point for sure. What would I do? Would I favor bulls or bears? I'd probably favor bulls. I'd probably favor a bounce, probably a bounce out of this range, at least a test of this level. But there is reason to be cautious. And for sure, if bulls are unable to hold, Niles, in that 380 range, you're going to want to reduce some risk exposure, okay? Jimmy, you want to look at Filecoin? Let's take a look at Filecoin, the future of finance. Filecoin. I have a short on Filecoin. I tweeted it out for you folks on the upthrust. I've had a short for like a week now. Stop loss has not triggered as 105 stop loss. Still in play. So that's doing well. Filecoin's a junk chart. If you're short, I'd say you should feel pretty comfortable. If you're long, I'd say probably sell and move on and play something else, would be my opinion on that. JDX talked about XRP. Hashtag the standard. Let's look at that. Yeah, whatever you guys want to talk about. This stream will only go on as long as you want, as long as you folks have requests. And of course, I'll talk more about Bitcoin, but we're really just waiting for resolution on this consolidation range. It's got to reclaim 71.5. Real quick before I get to XRP, I really just would avoid playing here in between this range. I would wait for interaction with this range low. I didn't say that before. But I just want to say that now, just so you have a good game plan. Reclaim range highs or interaction with range lows. Loss of 62K. We're almost definitely going to 55K. And I still think we're going to 55K in the near term. That's been my base case. XRP, I believe 135. Yeah, so this is a level I have us watching. 135. Failure here. We're testing these nut lows around 115. It's not a great looking chart. You can't feel super confident for sure in this chart. And especially given this volume and response. This is a beautiful volume cluster, beautiful green candle. It's more than a piercing pattern. I mean, it kind of tweezers are bottom, but it's almost like equal close. It just kind of came right back with more volume. But where's the follow through? Lack of follow through. And that's kind of been the story. Robinhood was requested. Sure. I think I have that in another playlist, another watch list, but we'll pull it up here. Oh, what do we think about Robinhood? Let's go to the weekly chart. Hope everybody has had a good week. I hope everybody's doing well. Again, a warm hello and thank you for being here. Okay. I mean, it depends how this week closes. We have a couple hours left, but you're not really liking the upper shadow on this candle. So you have kind of an attempted inside up, right? So you have the mother bar. So think about like compression, momentum compression, right? And so you have this weekly time frame, big drop down, big gap down, big candle, price is stabilizing. You get the bull harami. Well, not quite because it's inside bar, not a harami because the body is lower open. But you're getting kind of an inside up, an attempted inside up, and it's just coming back. Where's the follow through? Let's go back to the daily chart. Let's see if we can define some levels. So you're below what you'd want to see as support too. You're below kind of the level that you would have wanted to see hold as support. So I'd be careful minimally until you reclaim 79.80. Let's take a look at things. Okay. Yep. And yeah, I'd want to see more volume here if I'm thinking it's a short-term bottom. It just looks like it's probably going to drift lower. Probably going to drift lower, be my opinion. What do you guys want to talk about? Okay. Somebody said 155K. I've already talked about that. CRWD. What is that? CrowdStrike? CrowdStrike. Okay. All right. A little bit more strength here for sure. Certainly a bounce into the descending trend. We'll observe that. Pull up your observer meme. I'm observing that. And right here is an important level. This is kind of a almost like a 2-level filter. So if bulls can flip 440, I think you can take a long here. I like this volume too, but you could also take a short because your risk is pretty well defined in my view. So if you take these lows, brief consolidation, resistance, and then right here. So this is a very well-defined risk pivot in my view. Very nice bounce, very nice, sweep and recapture, and even, break of this trend. Great. But this is the broader trend since November. And so this is at a critical, not small. That's pretty, I can put that's pretty, I didn't know that. That's funny. Sorry. I didn't know I could put like a smiley face on it. What I was looking for, what was I looking for? Oh, the tools. Yeah. So this is what I'm looking for. So this is a pretty critical spot right here, right? I think you should manage your risk based on the interaction with that level. What's up, Martwan? Nice to see you, brother. Venice token. Do I have that on another playlist? Here we go. Nope. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, Venice tokens had relative strength. This is one of the better looking altcoins for sure. For sure. This is still a nice little bull. I'd call this a falling wedge. If you think about, again, I have videos in every one of these concepts. You think about a bull flag, you think about a bull pennant, and then you think about a falling wedge. Okay? Symmetrical, converging, parallel, and slowly converging the wedge. This is a wedge. Bullish wedge after an advance. Like to see this hold. This is a nice looking chart. This is a nice looking chart. Volume in the breakout. It's a bullish chart. I'm surprised it's continued. This one looks pretty good. Thank you, JDX. Appreciate you. Rocket Labs. Okay. Not Roadblocks, but Rocket Labs. Okay. Let's see. Who is messaging me? My wife. Okay. Got to pay attention to that. RKLB. She said, if you go to the market, give me fruit. Okay. You got it. All right, let's go. What do we think here? Rocket Labs. Yeah, I mean, look, you really want to see 66 level hold. I mean, that's clear. That's clear. It overall is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful trend. We don't see necessarily top type, volume cluster, so that's a good sign for bulls for eventual continuation. But I might pare back my risk if this level does not hold 64.50. As you'll note, much of my analysis is just based on simple supply and demand. It's just based on simple horizontal levels that are reflecting the strength of the market, okay? Circle. I love doing all these requests. CRCL. Let's do it. Circle's super strong, man. Where are we at? Let's take a look at Circle. That's wrong. Oh, I had Circle. I just removed it. Let's check it out. Boom. Yeah, this one has really nice breakout. Bounce into underside here. If the price rejects, a little bit of an early indication that will happen. Big body, medium body into the doji. You think about a doji, or spinning top if you want. You think about the concept of candle body progression in Japanese candlestick theory. Again, I have a video specifically on this concept. Big body, medium body, smaller, and then that. So it suggests there's a little bit of a rollover here. You might even look to buy the dip on a retest of this window or the gap here, right around $98. So it's a nice local breakout. Lower low sweep. You could even call it double atom if you want double bottom. It doesn't really matter what you call it because you have the range peak well defined. You have the breakout. You have the pause at the underside of the prior structure. This is where I would target for a throwback $98 level. Let's go back to Bitcoin. That's probably why most of you are here. So look, we're looking at Bitcoin just now failing to continue after breaking out of a pretty well-defined range. Okay, it's 27-day consolidation range, major pivot, at the 71.5K range. Now we're back into this structure. And what do? Right? So you want to think about the concept of price interaction with a key level. And again, I have a video specifically on this concept. So let's say you have a move up into a well-defined upper and lower boundary. You're going to wait until you have interaction with the upper or lower lower boundary. Don't mess around in the middle. And that's kind of where we're at. That's kind of where we're at now. What else is going on? Well, let me see here. SNX. Let's do some of these other ones. Hope everyone's chilling. I just want to say thank you so much for being here. It's a crypto, right? SNX USD synthetics. What do we think? I don't think I've looked at this one in a while. Yeah, delete this. If this is crypto, it's an SNX white tail, or are you thinking of something else? If this is the chart you're talking about, just delete it from your watch list and move on. This is absolute trash. If it's something else, let me know. Let's see. Can I look at Google? Sure. Googly eyes. Too many watch lists, too many plays. Where is the Goog? Too many plays. There's Google. Are we supposed to call them Google or Alphabet? All right. What do we think about Google or Alphabet? Thank you, Karina. Thank you for saying that. Karina says I'm a great coach. Folks, I love teaching you because it's how I get better. Like, that's why I wrote my books. That's why I do the trading encyclopedia. And I honestly, I mentioned Bitcoin Live before. This is my secret. Like, twice a week I stop and I make these detailed reports. It forces me to think about, what I think the market's doing. And this just helps me get so much better. So teaching you has really helped me. So thank you. Yeah, Google's definitely in. So primary. So you think about the trends, concept of Dow theory, primary trend. Here's our secondary trend. So we're in a clearly secondary downtrend. Support, rising MA200 is clearly a very nice uptrend. It still has a bunch to give before it would even test the 200. Let me zoom out. Let me scroll back. Clearly all-time highs. So there's no structure here. Oftentimes when you start out looking like a chart like this, you want to scroll the mouse button and look further out. Okay. Thank you, Martwan. Appreciate the comment. So primary, secondary, loss of MA50 now underside. So we're in a corrective phase. That's pretty clear. And the price does look somewhat vulnerable, to be honest. You could even call this a head and shoulders top attempting to break down. Now, a great question, Beats B. So if this is a head and shoulders top, for those who followed me and I've taught you, what do you do with the head and shoulders? There's two ways to play. What's most important is the breakout level. That's where it confirms, and the invalidation. So if you're going to declare a head and shoulders top, you can take a long and a break of 319. So you've got a head and shoulders top. Volume kind of lines up. Big volume in the left shoulder, a little bit more in the head, a little bit less on the right shoulder. So it kind of looks like a head and shoulders top, but it can invalidate. If it breaks down, you're probably going to head down to the 260 range, okay? So Beatsby says, hey, Cheds, thanks for streaming. You're welcome, brother. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining me, and thank you to everybody else. He says, I hear this often. When entering back into the range, and you're referring to Bitcoin, let's go back to the future of finance, a.k.a. Bitcoin. When back into the range, do you usually test the underside? Yeah, absolutely. I say that all the time. So, okay. So, there's a million examples of me talking about this over time with Bitcoin, but the idea is that so when we had our failed throwback, right, this is a very important concept. So if you go back, like I've been saying this for a while, you really wanted to see it hold around 107.5. And the reason I talked about that was looking at this structure, and this is an inverted head and shoulders. It continued. And here's this range. So when we broke back into the range, you have a very strong ability to test the bottom of the range. And you probably will. Once you have a range like this, you've broken out. If you re-enter, you're probably going to test the bottom. Is exactly what happened. And so that is true. And that's likely the case with Bitcoin. I think we are very likely headed towards a retest of range lows. I don't think they're going to hold. I've been saying that for a while. I was ready to be wrong. I even took a long trade in 71.5, stopped out. But we are headed back towards range lows. I mean, it seems quite likely. Bulls have tried to defend it a couple times with no follow through. We had a beautiful, beautiful volume, beautiful overreaction with just no follow through. That's the story. There's been no follow through. JDX wants to know, Cheds or Uncle Cheds, do you ever use Heikin-Ashi candles? It means even bar. I don't use Heikin-Ashi, that's bar chart. I don't use Heikin-Ashi, but I actually have a video for you on Heikin-Ashi candles. JDX, go to the encyclopedia. I made a 3 or 4 minute video on the concept of the Heikin-Ashi candle. It basically smooths out the trend. I don't use it, but I'm aware of it, and I created an educational video for you. It's in the trading encyclopedia, okay? So go watch that, brush up on Heikin-Ashi candles. Near looks much better. Yeah, you deleted SNX. It looks much better, a little bit stronger than I had initially anticipated. I even went back and forth with someone on Twitter, and guess what? They were right, and I was wrong, and that's okay. I had been targeting this for a short, never triggered, but I've been targeting this for a short, based on this candle, because it's just a downtrend that bounces. When downtrend bounces, you look to short. Had nice follow through. So there's actually some decent momentum. Of course, you don't like the big move into the doji, the 3 red. All that being said, you've got structure here. You are generally heading back into support. This looks much better than SNX. Still, it's a downtrend. Still, it's priced below, a falling MA200. And if I had been even more disciplined, which I'm not, my discipline's sloppy. My discipline is loose. And I'm working on it. That's why I journal. That's why I work out. And, that's why I try to hold myself accountable. If I had been really, really smart, I would have just waited for a bounce into this major structure here, the underside of this major structure. That's a fantastic short. This is a mega bounce in a downtrend to a really well-defined level. This was a little bit of an impulsive target, just kind of a local range. But there was more strength than the rest of the market here. But it looks to have peaked, heading back to the 115 range. Any reason I don't use Heikin-Ashi? It's just not. It's like I don't. It's kind of like just trading on the 2-week chart or the monthly chart. It's too high time frame for you. Like Heikin-Ashi doesn't have the same twists and turns of Japanese candlesticks, right? The open, high, low, close, where you get the candle body progression, you get the doji, you get all those beautiful patterns. Before I learned classical charting, I learned candlestick theory, and I kind of cut my teeth as the guy on Twitter who was like the candlestick expert. Not that I'm really an expert on anything, maybe other than Bitcoin price analysis. But, Heikin-Ashi, it doesn't give me enough information. I really like to use candlesticks, especially with Bollinger Bands. So I just don't use them. But you got to watch the video, brother, the Heikin-Ashi explainer video. What else is going on? So we talked a lot about Bitcoin. Let's go back to Bitcoin. We've talked a lot about Ethereum. I want to say this. So this video could age poorly, right? Like by like next week, we could be at 75K. Like that'd be great. Before that would happen, you'd have to reclaim 71.5, right? So be ready for 71.5. Otherwise, do nothing in this range. Wait for range low interaction. If Ethereum breaks 2150, definitely take a long. Now, intra-candle is fine. We had an intra-candle break, but your stop loss has triggered. There's also confirmation method, whether you confirmed the break, you're waiting for a daily close, a 4-hour close. Intra-candle got stopped out, but we clearly haven't, flipped 2150. Price flips 2150. You're going to want to be long on Ethereum. It's just an incredibly important level, going back multiple years here. Morpho was asked a couple times. What's Morpho? I've heard of that. Is that like Mofo? What's up, Mofo? Morpho USD. Okay, BitGet. Let's get Bit. BitGet. Not a lot of history in this one. That's weekly. Let's go to daily. It's not terrible, but honestly, this is just sideways. I don't like charts like this. There's just nothing to do. There's no trend. There's just no trend. There's nothing going on here, right? When the price is sideways, right? Moving averages are useless, right? Because you need a trend to cross. There's just not much going on here, man. Yeah, I mean, you do have, okay, double bottom break, measured moves, pretty much been met, right up into generally range peak, but it's just sideways. I just don't have much alpha, much to share in this one. So you want me to check levels? I mean, so should be support, must hold, resistance above. It's just not an interesting chart to me, JA, to be honest. So coming up in 35 minutes. It's been a nice little stream. I'm really happy to check in with you folks. I just wanted to remind you of a few things. You really should be soaking up the trading encyclopedia. I've got like several hundred videos here. And by the way, so I've published, I don't know if you know, but I have published 4 books, and I'm making them free, including Trading Wisdom, which has sold over 15,000 copies. And thank you so much for everyone, your support. And the trading quotes, and including my new book, The Trading Journal, which is like teaching you how to identify trading setups, how to use a trading journal, sample trading journal entries. It's all free in this playlist. Look at this playlist. What a gem. I'm super proud of this. How do I use a Fibonacci retracement tool? Haven't you ever wondered? People talk about diamond bottom. What is it? What is the principle of polarity? What's VWAP? Look at all this stuff. What a cool playlist. Look at this. What's an upthrust? What's a bullish hook reversal? What are umbrella lines? Things you've never heard of. And I've made videos. Here's your Heikinashi video. Here you go. Here's the Heikinashi video, brother. Right here, right? Death cross, head and shoulders, stair-stepping, MACD, point and figure charts. Invert the chart to check your bias. And every lesson from my book. So I'm doing all 50 lessons in the Trading Encyclopedia. Also, my book, Trading Quotes. I have a playlist on that. So I am, of course, on Twitter at Big Cheds. I want to remind you that if you're looking for an exchange, I have a wonderful relationship with BingX. I've worked with them a long time. They're a great exchange. I am a really proud founding analyst at Bitcoin Live. The reason I'd probably stream like every other day and just hang out with you folks is I have to save my analysis for Bitcoin Live. I'm just dedicated to it. And every Wednesday and Sunday night, I do a full market report. I haven't missed one 7 years. Every single Wednesday and Sunday night. It just doesn't matter if I'm on a cruise ship in the middle of the Caribbean. I'm doing a report. Like, the members will know this. I'm sick. My family knows it's Bitcoin Live. Like, I do the report. So consider checking that out. Check out the public blog. This is a great team. So I really enjoy interacting with you folks. I just want to say I'm thankful for you for being here. If I was unable to answer your question today, I'll try to do it next time. Drop me a message. I'll try to respond on Twitter. If not, just wait for the next stream or, Bitcoin Live. I answer all the questions there. So I hope everybody's doing well. There's a lot of uncertainty. Make sure you're managing your risk. I would just say this, okay? It's okay to really try any trade if you define your risk. If you take this breakout and if it doesn't hold, exit the trade. That's okay. You can take any trade with a well-defined risk as long as you manage it. Give yourself the ability to try trades, try smaller positions, use your trading journal. And so you're writing down what you're thinking, how you're feeling as you're going through these trades. So get experience, manage your risk, but be mindful. Ask yourself, how am I feeling when I'm entering this trade? Am I excited? Am I scared? Am I nervous? Take advantage of that. Use that knowledge and that experience to build. In the meantime, we're waiting for recapture 71.5 BTC. We're waiting for range low 62K. I do think we're going to 55K shortly. So that's my plan. Folks, thank you so much. We're going to dance Church of Eight Wheels. Much love, much love. Let's do this.